welcome to our Thursday night live broadcast. We are broadcasting live on YouTube and Facebook simultaneously. Like I said, we are having a great week. Both connections have come in consistently, so I'm always glad when that happens. Tonight, we are going to close out our conversation about anxiety and how anxiety, or maybe how you deal with some anxiety in your life, might be keeping you from your intermittent fasting goals, and how some of these practices might actually be keeping you from some other things in your life. And so we titled this, Just Breathe, It's Food and Time. So we're going to talk a little bit about that this evening. So if you're new, welcome. I always love when we have some new viewers on. Please take a second to make sure that you leave in the comments who you are and where you're tuning in from. And if you are practicing intermittent fasting, if you've been through one of our courses, maybe you've just been following along on the sidelines for a while, I always love to hear from you guys. And you guys know at the end of my discussion, I always go on and welcome everyone and answer any questions or comments. So let's get to it. This is a series 4, I guess, or talk 4 of 4 in our series this week about anxiety. And what I always like to really get the point out about fasting, especially intermittent fasting, and intermittent just means that we're taking a 24-hour period and we're breaking it up between fasting and feasting. So you're taking your 24 hours and you're just going to decide what period of time you're going to fast and what period of time you're going to feast. And the reason that I love intermittent fasting so much is because it does allow us an opportunity to have a pretty normal lifestyle. We're not doing anything too extreme. We're not doing anything that's too far out there. We're not doing anything that has too many constraints as far as like dieting guidelines and rules and set points and start points and failure points. We really have an opportunity to create a lifestyle that works for us within the means of which we want to live our life. When you don't treat it that simply or that matter-of-factly, it can really be something that stresses a lot of women out. And I think it's because we make intermittent fasting bigger than it really is. And it is by far the simplest thing I have done for myself and for my life in the history of what I've done with fasting and nutrition. And I think that the reason that it is so simple to me is because of the science that backs up intermittent fasting. And when you truly understand what happens chemically in your body when you are in a truly fasted state, and then you understand what happens in your body and how your body processes food when you choose the right kind of foods to put in your body, it is really simple. But we often get caught up in those details of, well, so-and-so said, and I read somewhere, and this person said this, and I heard this, and then we put in all of these things that other people are saying without really allowing ourselves an opportunity to just give it a go. And we've worked with thousands of women now with our intermittent fasting community here in the course that we're running, and no two women ever leave the course or ever express the same sort of experiences in our community groups even that we have with what it is that they're either doing with their fasting and feasting or the results that they're seeing with the time in which they're choosing to be in a fasted or feasted state. And the amazing results that we're getting as far as health conditions that are being minimized or reversed in general, or weight loss stories, or just the overall feeling of being a better woman every day because we have energy and clarity in our mind and our memories are coming back, and the empowerment and confidence and all of those things that we are gaining from practicing this way of living your life around food. And I think that when we get too caught up in all those details of, oh my gosh, it has to be perfect, and I didn't fast today for 20 whatever hours, and Betty down the street fasted for 57, and we get in that comparison game, and we think we're doing it wrong. We get ourselves so riled up and we get ourselves so stressed out that we don't see how simple this whole way of living can really be for us, and the magic that it can provide for us once we just breathe. It's just food and it's just time. And all we have to do is take the time to experiment with our bodies, take the time to slow down, listen to the signs and signals that it's sending us. And if we do one thing and our body sends us a signal that's not good, we don't repeat that one thing. And then if we do something else and our body sends us a signal that is good and makes us feel energized or makes us feel happy or makes us feel less anxious maybe even, then those are the things that we repeat. And we just keep practicing that daily routine of you did something and it didn't feel good and you stopped doing it. You did something and it felt good and you continue to do it until you whittle things down in your life to create this lifestyle where you have control over multiple days of feeling good. And it's that time that you're in that fasted state and believing in your own mind that what you're doing is working because the science is there. And we have a saying, we talk about it a lot here, about hungry is where the magic happens. And we truly believe that magic is happening when we're in that state of hunger, but we're comfortable there. And you have to go through those processes of comfort with being hungry and understand why it's so important and why it's so okay to just be hungry every now and then. And when you're in that hungry state, to be at peace with it so that you're not stressed out and you're not anxious, because it's just food and it's just time. And most of us live a lifestyle where food is plentiful. It's not like you're going to not ever get to eat again, or it's not that you're never ever going to have a chance to have a birthday cake, or it's not that you're never going to have a chance to do some of the things that you think you enjoy doing around food. But oftentimes even those things become so less important to us when we really identify with the actions that we take and the feelings that are associated with it. And when your actions and your feelings result in a good thing repeatedly, then you really start to understand what it is that we're doing, and you can really release some of that anxiety. So how do we wrap this all up and get ourselves to the point where we just breathe? I often try to coach women on just really making it simple. And if you're feeling anxious or you're feeling stressed or you have all these outside distractions coming in and you don't know what to trust, the best advice I can give is to just shut it out. Shut out all the extra distractions. Take some time with you and just practice what it is you're doing, and really tune into those signs and signals that your body is sending you so that you can hear what your body is telling you, and then you can react accordingly. And when you start getting really good at that, what you'll notice is the anxiety will just slowly start to diminish until it goes away. And as that anxiety is diminishing and as it's starting to go away, all the pieces of your puzzle of your life will start to come together. And when you get the power back for yourself, and you get the control back for yourself, and you get that energized sense of calm, and you get that feeling of magic happening because hungry is an okay feeling to have, everything else in your life really will start to fall into place, because it all starts with you. And it just so happens that we're using food and time as the tools and the means to get ourselves back as women, and to get our health back, and to get our energy back, and to get our vivaciousness back that oftentimes gets diminished because we are just stuffed. And being stuffed, whether that be with food or emotion or events or stress or whatever it is that you're stuffed with, can be relieved by just letting yourself be and feel a little hungry. And when you get to that point, you realize that that emptiness that you can create for yourself on the inside really does open up a lot of space for some good stuff to come in. And if you're constantly stuffed down, even with food, as metaphorically as that sounds, when you're constantly stuffed down, there's no room for anything else. And so open up the space and just be a little bit empty and see what it is that you can bring in. And most of the time, good things will come in because you'll be open to it and you'll be ready for it and you'll be healed. And that's ultimately what we're looking for. So I'm going to pop in and see who's jumped on with us tonight to close out our anxiety talk. And I've totally appreciated all the messages that you guys have sent about how much you've liked this talk this week. Linda, so good to see you. Lori, hello, beautiful people. Hello, beautiful Lori. August 12th, grad and alumni, loved listening to Max Lucado today. Great topic. Oh, awesome. I'm so glad that you listened to it. Feeling hungry on IF is a gift I'm not afraid of. Hunger anymore. I'm not on the edge. Awesome. And that's Mrs. LaCroix. Is LaCroix really your last name? Or is that like a name that you have for YouTube because of LaCroix, the drink? I would love to know if that's really your last name. I think that's a cool last name. Kim from Carlsbad. The reason I started following you and joined this class is because you made the IF process simple. I make small changes as I figure what does and doesn't work for me. Kim, that is the best way to do it. That's the way I did it too. Let's see. Susie, good evening from Houston. I used to really look forward to feasting because I love eating. Now I find I enjoy my hunger and empty time just as much. Yeah, it's a great way to live. Rachel, hello everyone. First week with IF, already lost 2 pounds. I have Hashimoto's, already knew my food sensitivities, but was hardly losing weight. Turns out IF was the last piece of the puzzle I needed. Rachel, congratulations. So many people think that when they get diagnosed with Hashimoto's that it's almost like it's the end kind of thing, and that there's really no way to treat it. And oftentimes what happens with a lot of these autoimmune disorders, and I've never been diagnosed with one. I know I kind of had some very common symptoms of autoimmune disorders, but it's amazing how rampant autoimmune disorders are, especially with women. And I think that it is because we're so consumed with being so busy and so stuffed in a sense that we stop paying attention to our bodies. And I think that once we do start paying attention and we can make those adjustments, and a lot of it is lifestyle adjustments, that we can start really seeing some relief from some of those autoimmune disorders that, we're often told it's like, too bad, now you have to kind of deal with this thing. And I know a lot of people are reversing a lot of those symptoms and a lot of the limiting beliefs that they had about a condition that they were diagnosed with. And I always say, if you get diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder, just remember it's a thing and it's not a you, right? So don't own it. Don't say, don't accept it. And a lot of this is so emotional and mental and all those kind of things. But I always just say, don't own it, sort of just wear it out on your sleeve and manage it and make sure that it's not something that becomes or encompasses everything that you are or do. And that helps a lot of women with the autoimmune disorders too. Let's see. Hi, Diane. Julie from California finally made a live broadcast. Julie, nice to have you here. Margaret, good morning from the UK. It is okay to go on a juice fast while IF. You don't need to. Remember, the beautiful thing about intermittent fasting is it heals your body. So, and oftentimes juice fasts are really high in sugar. So I would say if you're going to go on a juice fast, I would just completely fast, maybe. I don't know. But whatever you're doing the juice fast for, you can get the same results from just intermittent fasting. So, it's the same with probiotics. A lot of people say, well, what probiotic should I take while I'm fasting? Well, if you're really in a clean fasted state, an empty gut is a great arena for your gut to heal. So you don't necessarily need to be on any kind of probiotics or anything when you're fasting in a clean fasted state, because an empty gut is a gut that has an opportunity to heal itself. So you really don't have to rely on any of those things anymore. It'll do its job. Your stomach is designed to clean itself out, so it'll do its own thing. LaCroix is my real last name and has become popular. Yeah, good for you. I would work that if I was you. The sparkling waters are awesome. Yes, they are. On Amazon Prime, there's a documentary called The Science of Fasting, where in Europe it has been studied for years. Yeah, there's a lot of good information coming out about fasting. A lot of talk shows have been featuring information about fasting, so I love that it's becoming more mainstream. I think more people will trust it. I just hope that people will actually adopt it as a lifestyle and not just think that it's some fad diet thing. Because then it starts to get sort of a bad rap, and I really don't want something as amazing as what we're doing to ever get a bad rap. Let's see, Yvette, you're calling in from, or you're tuning in from Maine. So good to have you. I am a beginner, but looking into this very seriously. Yeah, you should jump in with us. It's super fun, Yvette. And what I really try to teach is the simplified way to intermittent fast, and how to really just listen to your body so that you can adapt this lifestyle into your life, and not worry and stress too much about it. It is really the easiest way to live. And it's just, you're just moving the time in which you start eating every day up to a designated time. And then when you eat, you just enjoy eating. One of the first real aha moments I had with fasting was when I realized I could actually eat dinner with my family. And I realized, I would think I was a little sad about it for a little while, because I had realized how many dinner opportunities I had missed, because by the time dinner rolled around, I had consumed all my calories for the day. And so I couldn't eat the dinner that I prepared for my family. And so I'd sit there and sort of just sulk about the little, bird amount of food I was eating. And when I started fasting, and I would fast during the day when my kids were at school, and then I would feast at night when they were home. I could actually enjoy a good sit down social dinner with my family and have a plate of food that looked like their plate of food. And so that's where I really had my oh my gosh, this makes so much sense, because you can eat socially as opposed to always having to exit or excuse yourself out of a social situation because food was present and you already, reached your quota for the day or whatever. Liz, love fasting. Before I started fasting, would binge on crappy food because I was always starting a diet tomorrow. Right now, it's just a lifestyle, and for some reason, I crave healthy food in my feasting window. That's probably because you're fasting well. When you fast well, meaning you're in a truly fasted state and you're not dependent on sugar anymore as a source of energy, and you're really dependent on fat as a source of energy, then your body craves what it needs to keep going. And so sugar is highly addictive. And when you can cut that addiction and that dependency that your body has on it, then your body's going to actually crave what it needs, and it needs nutrient-dense food. So congratulations, Liz. It sounds like you're winning in the fasting world. Janet, hello, checking in from Houston. Good to have you here. And Angelica from Auckland, welcome. Linda, saying hi from Ontario. Learning to trust yourself, especially when we make choices that are not the best for us, but knowing we can make better decisions the next day. Exactly. It takes the pressure off and makes IF a great way to live. Thanks, Dan, for all your support. Yeah, you're welcome. Remember, there's 2 questions we ask ourselves every day when you wake up, or when you go to you're planning your next day, maybe the night before, is how long will I fast, right? And how well will I feast? And you just make 2 decisions. And some days they're going to be short fasts, and some days going to be long fasts, and some days you'll accidentally fast a little bit longer because life happens. And then there'll be days when you just eat out at dinner, and maybe it's not the most balanced thing, but you're out socializing with your family, and that's okay because you're going to just fast the next day. So we don't want to ever go too extreme on either end, and that's what I love so much about intermittent fasting and the flexibility that is designed within it. You just make decisions every day based on what it is that your life has at stake for that day and what it is that your body needs. And some days you're gonna just need to eat food more than another day, and then there's going to be those days that you can just get by with less. And I equate this a lot to being a runner. So I'm a runner. I love running. Well, actually say I like to run. I'm not a runner is really how I describe myself, because if it's not like 72 degrees outside and perfectly sunny with no wind, like running to me is just not fun. So I also know as a runner, and if you're a runner, you probably have experienced this as well. You can have every great intention mentally to get up and go for a really long run tomorrow. But then there's some days where you wake up and you're just like, I just don't have it in me. And I realized this when I was training for a half marathon. Like there would be days where I was scheduled for like a, 12-mile run or something. And I would get up to run, and like a mile into my run, I'm calling my husband. I'm like, you got to come get me. I just can't run today. And then there would be other days where I could run 2 hours effortlessly. And I don't know why. One day I like physically couldn't run, and then another day I could run 20 miles and not even think about it. Who knows what's going on with our body system on those days? So you just take the great day that you can run as a great day you can run. And the day you just don't have it, you just don't have it. You don't beat yourself up about it. I feel the same way about fasting. There are days where I can fast long and strong, and it's effortless for me. And then there's some days where I'm just like, oh man, I gotta have some breakfast today. And I'm okay with that too, because now I just have the foods in my arsenal that are the foods that make me look and feel my best. And so I defer to those foods when it feels like I just need to have more. So it's not that thing that you have to beat yourself up over or try to make perfect. You just breathe. It's just food and time, and you get to determine what food and time falls within your fasting and feasting windows. Let's see if there's any more comments here on Facebook. Janet, oh, thank you for the hair color. I just got it colored. I just got it touched up, I guess I should say, a couple of weeks ago. Let's see. Brandy from August 12th, grad and alumni. Awesome. Maria, hello. Angelica, I'm enrolled in the holiday course. Highly recommend it. All makes so much sense. Awesome. Cool. I can't wait till you guys get your lesson for tomorrow. It's a good one too. Penny, enjoyed the course and encouragement from everyone. Awesome, Penny. So good to have you here tonight with us. Monica, hello. A few days into the holiday course, and it's getting easier every day. And I leave the Diet Coke sugar addictions behind. Congratulations. A Diet Coke addiction is strong. If you can break that, it's a great thing. I was the one who... Diet Coke was my only vice, is how I claimed or justified my Diet Coke. And now I can't stand to drink the stuff. So it's interesting what we can do for ourselves when we let go of those habits and we kind of, what I say, suck it up through the hard part. Quitting Diet Coke is not easy, but when you can suck it up and get through those horrible couple of days and get to the other side of it, it's like a whole new world, and it's freedom, because you're not going to be dependent on that thing to make you feel good or get you up and get you going for the day. And so congratulations if you're kicking a Diet Coke habit. I understand what you're going through. It's tough, so good for you. Yvette, I take Zumba classes and feel the same as you do about your running now and then. Some days are easier than others. Yeah, girl, I don't know. I wish we came with like a warning sign so we kind of knew. But I just say roll with it when it's great. And when it's not great, you just take a break. And the biggest thing is what we do up here, right? So you just mentally don't beat yourself up, and you just take it as it is, and you go home and you take a nap or you rest or whatever, and then take advantage of the next day. You have a ton of energy. It's all fine. Let's see what else we got over here. Let's see. Mrs. LaCroix, cost effective to immediately and in the long run too. Intermittent fasting. Oh yeah, totally. We save so much money. Rachel, my area of anxiety is exercise. My issue is that I would gain 2 pounds of water weight right after a workout. So miss workout so you would miss a workout. I did jump on the elliptical this morning while fasting. Okay, so Rachel, my advice to you is don't get on the scale so often. Women's weight fluctuates up and down continuously. I could weigh myself every hour throughout the day and my weight's going to go up and down. So what I always suggest is getting on the scale one day a month, if even that frequently. If your body feels great and your clothes feel great and what you see in the mirror is what you like to see in the mirror, who cares what you weigh? It doesn't matter, and your weight is going to come and your weight is going to go. So if gaining 2 pounds in one day after doing something like a workout, which is really good for you, is going to make you discouraged about working out, then you have to stay off the scale. It's not doing you any favors. And yes, when you work out, your body does retain water, your muscles retain water, but it comes and goes. So if you're feeling bad about that, just don't get on a scale, because it's not going to do you any good. And it's just going to it's going to stress you out. And then when you're stressed out, then your cortisol levels go up, and then hormones are just a mess. So ditch the scale. It's not doing you any good. Let's see. Laura, I love that you share your flexibility with us. Yeah, you have to be flexible, you guys. Life's too short. Food's fun. Food is fun. Socializing around food is fun. We don't want to be we don't want to be that girl at the party. We don't want to become food phobic. We're not trying to create that kind of environment at all. We want to use intermittent fasting as a sensible, intelligent way to live our life around food, because of the benefits that it has for us as far as healing our body. And so that doesn't mean that you have to be so rigid or be successful or a failure at it. You're going to just make a choice. And what you choose every day is based on what your day has at stake for you, which is why I don't tell people what to eat. I don't demand a protocol. I share with you all of the information, and within our course, we create an environment for you to practice and experiment and say, oh my gosh, I tried what you said and it didn't work. And then I can come back, or someone in our course will come back and go, I tried this little tweak and it worked so much better. And that's the beautiful thing about being in an environment with like-minded women. We help each other and we want each other to be as successful, and we share our stories. So we really do want everyone to be successful, and I want this environment to be a place where you guys can experiment and you feel safe in doing that, because the only wrong way to fast is just when you are in your fasting window and you're doing things that don't put you in a truly fasted state. And the only reason that's wrong is because you're cheating yourself out of an opportunity of really healing your body. And when you cheat yourself out of that opportunity, then you're not going to see results, and then you're going to get discouraged, and then you're going to want to throw in the towel. Where if you just give yourself enough education and experience within some confines of playing around and being flexible with things, then you'll find your groove. And then when you find your groove, then you're more willing to stick it out on the days that aren't going to feel the best. And I have days that don't feel the best. I shared this week, I think, about how I had a really bad weekend. I don't know what I did. It could have just been a cycle my body was going through, and every joint in my body hurt. And if I wasn't so confident with what I'm doing with my body and have so much experience now with my fasting and my feasting, and have come from an environment where I was so sick and now I'm not sick anymore, when I have those bad days, I just go, okay, I need to just adjust and fast it away. And literally, fasting away is my phrase and answer for everything that's not going right for me, whether it's a bad day, an emotional day, a achy day, a bloated day, a tired day. Like, I just fasted away. And oftentimes when you're not experienced, or you don't have enough education, or you don't have enough support, what happens is when you have a bad day, the first thing that you think is, oh, it must be my fasting. And in the reality of all of that, it's really probably what you're doing in your feasting. And so if you truly understand the science and the chemical process that's going on when you're in a truly fasted state, fasting's the answer for everything. all you have to do is determine how long you're going to fast to find your answer. And that is going to be different for everyone. So it's always good to default to the fast. Let's see, Candace, I just started this day 3. It's day 3 for you. Good, and you feel great. The transition was easy because I was doing keto before this. Exactly. When you're doing, or you're following a keto diet or philosophy, or you're following what I like to follow, which is a high-fat, moderate protein, conscious carbohydrate diet. I don't necessarily follow a keto type of plan, more like the philosophy of it. It's a lot easier to go into fasting because your body's already used to surviving on less a carbohydrate load. So your body's already looking for fat to burn as an energy source. So people who come in from like the keto lifestyle into fasting usually have an easier transition because they don't have to make that switch from a sugar burner to a fat burner as intensely. If you're jumping into intermittent fasting just as a person off the street who's kind of just casually eating, then it tends to be a little harder because you have to go through the process of switching your energy sources. And that's where a lot of women are this week in our course. And tomorrow you're going to find out why that is. So just stick it out. Cheryl, I feel better in my fast for real. Oh, me too, girlfriend. Energized sense of calm is what I strive for in my fast. And if I'm not feeling that, then that usually means that I've done something like put in some stevia in my coffee or did a little what I call a fasting crutch. I let a fasting crutch in, and that takes me out of that deep sense of energized calm. So if you really want the energized sense of calm, I highly encourage you guys to do a deep clean fast, meaning you don't let anything in that's going to take away your truly fasted state. And a lot of people, who is this? Candace, you'll probably be able to comment on this. When you're in a truly fasted state and you are burning ketones as your source of energy, which is what happens when you become fat adaptive, there's some negative, or what we deem negative as a society, kind of side effects of that. And one of those is keto breath. And that's where you have this sort of taste and smell to your breath because your body's burning ketones, and that's sort of a chemical process. And everyone freaks out about that, and they're wanting to eat mints and chew gum and do all these things that will immediately get rid of your keto breath. But it gets rid of your keto breath because it takes you out of your ketosis. It takes you out of the fat burning process. And if you're out of the fat burning process, then you just broke your fast. And so I always say to people, when you have keto breath, congratulations, like good for you, keep it. Drink some water, apologize to whoever you have to talk to or whatever, but I'm not getting rid of my keto breath for anyone. Like that means I'm doing everything right and I want to stay in that fat adaptive state. So so it's interesting what we consider, socially unacceptable and what we're willing to do to please other people. I say just stick it out. Candace, surprisingly, I didn't have the bad breath issue, but have severe migraines and fatigue. That's interesting. I wonder why that is. Maybe are you following a strict ketogenic diet? Liz, when's the next course? Liz, Kara posted, I think it says Diane actually in the post, but she posts the link to the course. You can start tomorrow. Like we have opened up a special course so that anyone who wants to start right now, you can join. You're just going to be on a different cycle than our last course that started, but you can jump in, and we have a group on Facebook where everyone's starting on their own day, and you're more than welcome to jump in with us, and we jump in and guide you still. So you can sign up tonight and start tomorrow. We'd love to have you. Quit drinking and quit processed foods and sugar, all cold turkey. Whew, you're my hero, girlfriend. Good for you. Yeah, who knows why? Maybe you're not drinking enough water. Oftentimes if you get migraines and you feel fatigued, it could be because you're not drinking enough water. So I would make sure you track that. And then also if you need to, make sure you're drinking mineralized water. Sometimes it could be you're not getting enough magnesium and sodium. Sodium is big for offsetting fatigue when you're fasting. Let's see. Yvonne, girlfriend, I can't believe you're just jumping on. I know. But you look really cute in your shirts. we have, if you guys are interested and you're in the fasting community and you're a woman, we have some really cute branded shirts that we've made up that go with some of the phrases from our course. And so our students that have been in our course for the past year just ordered the first month. We're doing a shirt of the month. So they just got their shirts from last month and they're super cute. And Yvonne looks really cute in her shirts. And so we have a shirt for November, and it's it says on the front of it, it's a 3/4 length sleeve for the fall and the winter, and it says fast long feast well on it. So if you're interested in getting one of our shirts, there's a shop on my Facebook page. So YouTube, you can go to my Facebook page, there's a shop there and you guys can check it out. And if you're on Facebook, go check it out in the shop. They're really cute shirts. Super shirt. Candace, maybe sugar withdrawal, not sure, but this was the very beginning back in August. Okay, so you're not having headaches anymore then? Are the tanks still available? Pamela, we can only do one shirt at a time, but we'll bring the tanks back for sure, probably in a month or so. I'm not a t-shirt shop person, so I teach courses on intermittent fasting. So I personally don't want to stock a bunch of inventory of t-shirts. So we're going to print one shirt style a month and then just kind of do it that way. So we'll probably have some shirts available in a tank next month, if that's okay. So we'll keep you guys posted. But every other month we'll do like a longer sleeve and a shorter sleeve. No more headaches. Candace, you're awesome. My hero girlfriend. Kim, that's hilarious. My husband just told me it might be a good idea for me to brush my teeth at the 20th hour. Okay, well, if you fasted for 20 hours, maybe it would be a good time to brush your teeth. I don't know if you're going to break your fast, but if you're not ready to break your fast, just kind of ride it out for the next hour or so. Just have some water and rinse your mouth out. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Rachel, okay, we already did that. Okay, cool. Any other questions or comments? I feel like I'm kind of babbling now, but it's so good to have a conversation with you guys. Yeah, Yvonne, I didn't even get my shirts yet, so I can't even take a picture of my shirts, but hopefully I'll get them in the next day or two. And then tomorrow, and Yvonne, I can say this to you because you're right there with me. I'm speaking to my son's school, high school tomorrow. I'm giving a speech on my life as a military veteran, and I'm going to share a little about my story about why it is I went into the military after high school. So hopefully I'll motivate some young people into making some good choices for themselves after high school. So I'm doing that tomorrow. So if any of you on here are veterans, thank you for your service. We always appreciate what our veterans do for us. Will intermittent fasting balance estrogen dominance? It will, as long as what you're doing in your feasting window doesn't also cause estrogen dominance. So intermittent fasting works really well for balancing out hormones, but you just want to make sure, again, like I said, what you're doing in your feasting window isn't going to cause you to continue to be estrogen dominant. So, that would just be doing some research on the food that you're taking in. Yvette, I was in the Air Force, and thank you. Yvette, good for you, girlfriend. How long were you in the Air Force? I was in the Air Force for 6 years. I loved it. What causes estrogen dominance? A lot of times it's the foods and environment kind of things, like soy causes estrogen dominance. I'm trying to think of some other things. I know it could just be that you naturally produce, more estrogen than your body knows what to do with. So, but it goes back a lot to nutrition. So I would research that, Candace, and see if you can find some of those factors of what causes estrogen dominance. I know soy products are big, and soy products are everywhere. So that's one of the biggest culprits. Belgian Air Force for 2 years, then met my U.S. husband. Oh, congratulations, girlfriend. Jody, thank you for your service. Diane, my hubby was in the Navy for 9 years. Love and respect to all veterans. Yep. Best thing I did for myself was join the Air Force. And so what we're going to hopefully do here soon, since we're kind of just hanging out and talking casually, is start to change the subjects a little bit as far as what we're going to cover for aging women. And we're going to start probably doing that next year, covering some woman issues that are more specific to why it is we want to kind of look and feel our best, and why it is we may be having some issues with some of the food things that we have going on, and battles that we've fought against our whole life. So we'll start asking for some subjects that you guys want to talk about, and then we'll start addressing them here as well. Candace, okay, thanks so much. I'll do some more research for sure. I know by quitting the bad foods and drinking will help for sure. Oh, totally. Anything that's going to cause you to be in, any sort of hormonal balance is going to help with that for sure. I think that the research that I mostly did was based on soy products because I was feeling just so bad. And when I got rid of soy, I felt so much better. And as soon as I get soy back in, I start to feel bad again hormonally. So for me, it was soy. And then also when I was having some fertility issues, when we were trying to have my daughter after we had our son, when I cut all processed foods out and soy out specifically, all those infertility issues just went away. And so a lot of times it just could be what it is, some little thing in your food that could be causing it for you. So do your research and then be very diligent about reading labels. Even clean, healthy, quote unquote, food can have some hidden things in it that could be causing your hormones to be out of balance. So be really good about reading those labels and making sure you know what foods are doing what to you. Jody, a word of caution, eggs. If the carton says vegetarian fed, they're likely eating corn and soy. Chickens are not vegetarians. Learned I need to find a new egg supplier. Yes, you want to get grass fed, not vegetarian. And now they even say, this is what's so freaky, and this is why I'm not eating so much meat anymore, or eggs either. Before it was, cage free, that it was vegetarian, and now it's grass fed, and now you have to go that second step, which is grass finished. So because there's all these laws, right, that you only have to be grass fed for a certain amount of time, and then it doesn't matter what it is they feed you, you can still be called grass fed. So grass fed, grass finished. My solution to all of those little tricky things about the food industry is I'm really limiting how much meat I'm consuming, and I'm not eating as many eggs anymore, and I'm feeling so much better by just eating a lot of vegetables and stuff. Tonight I had homemade pesto with carrot chips, y'all. My food is so simplified. It's not even funny. I just took a batch of basil and I ground it down in my blender with some pine nuts and a little bit of Parmesan cheese and some avocado oil and salt and garlic. And I blended it up into a nice little dip, and I took some organic carrot chips out and I scooped the pesto with some carrot chips, and it was amazing. So be creative. Think outside the box when you're thinking about your food. Not everything has to be eaten the way we're used to having it eaten. You can create your own dishes and create your own things. Last night, and I shared this in my alumni group, and then I promise I will stop talking. Last night we made an experimental dish, and it was called a warm taco salad is what we called it. And I took sweet peppers, so the pink, the yellow, and the orange sweet peppers. I diced them up with some purple onion and some garlic and some serrano chilies, and we sauteed it in avocado oil. And then we made a layered taco salad. So we did that, and then we did some salsa, and then we did some refried beans, and then some black beans, and we did put a little bit of ground turkey in there. And then we put some siete grain-free tortilla chips, and then we repeated the layering process, and we put some manchego cheese in there, which is sheep cheese, which doesn't have any lactose in it. So if you have dairy problems, it doesn't usually cause problems. And we baked it in the oven, and oh my gosh, it was so delicious. So we're going to share that recipe with you guys too soon. So, just think of different ways to put your food together so you don't get bored, and then you can keep within the small confines of what's making you look and feel your best. Lori, I have to sign off, but I wish you all a wonderful, blessed weekend. Looking forward to meeting back here on Monday. Yep, Lori, I'll see you later. And Yvonne, you've motivated me to not eat so much meat, so thank you for that. Okay, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and say goodnight to you guys, and I will see you all on Monday. Have a super fabulous weekend. Happy Veterans Day to my veterans out there. And if you guys ever have any questions or you're interested in the course, always feel free to reach out to me. I will get you plugged in with what you need. Comments section has the links to the course and the t-shirt shop as well. So if you're interested in looking at some of our cool community t-shirts. You do not have to take the course to get a shirt, but it would be cool if you started wearing one and supported intermittent fasting for aging women. We would love to have you wearing one of our shirts. Have a good night, and I'll see you guys on Monday.